Big city units, boy, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
What is going on, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. Another beautiful day. It is a Monday. We are all fortunate and lucky to be here rocking with everybody. I just want to say, blessings to you all. Hope your family and friends are doing okay. Hope life is treating you well, and hope everybody's in the best of health once again. Yeah, man. You know what it is. We here, baby. Thank you for tuning in to SKF Weekly. I am your man, Ron. That's my brother. And that's, okay. I'm holding it down. You know how we do. What's in my red cup? Just some juice. Anyway, hope you guys are doing okay. I'm looking like Grizzly Adams right now. I gotta get to the razor. That's okay. I'm gonna make it happen. At least before tomorrow, before work day. Shout out to all y'all. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm excited. I'm happy. Every day is another day closer to Knicks Media Day, and then the day after, first day of training camp. So I can't wait. We are currently 8 days away, y'all. 8 days away from Media Day. Woo-wee. Oh, man, a lot of stuff. It's great. It's good. Can't be mad at it. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Crim's dad in the building, member of the SKF Army. Salute to you, my brother. Shout out to Walter Blackman. What up, Walter? Good to see you. As always, a good evening, Ron and John. I hope all is well with your families. 9 more days until training camp. Yep. Shout out to Wolverines 1986. Hello, all. Lots of depth now. If Knicks want to make trades, best pieces to move would be one or more of Deuce Mitch and or snag a tall wing that plays D. And hold on. Why does it look like that? It looks kind of weird. Oh, there we go. That's why. And or snag a tall wing that plays D and shoots the three and handles the ball well. I hear you. Shout out to HRM. Salute to you. Appreciate you. The other player to move would be Josh. They're not moving Josh, but I hear you on the other stuff. Shout out to Fritz Al Sender Jr. in the building. You know what I mean? The NBA Economy Show is in full force. Appreciate you, Fritz. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Shout out to Darlene Bryant. Let's go. What up, Darlene? Says salute, Ron. We got the Cardiac Knicks in the building. Salute, Ron. What up, Cardiac? Of course, Wolverines. Who wouldn't be Wolverines without letting us know that maybe Rick Brunson and Mo Cheeks will surprise us with their resignations. And shout out to my guy, Deron Wayne, member of the SKF Army. Salute, Ron and SKF. What's going on, Deron? All right, so let's get it cracking. Anyway, you guys already know. You've heard about the Knicks have been trying out a lot of different people. So, when I first heard they were trying out different big men, like Thomas Bryant and other people, I was like, okay, but I didn't quite understand, like, why would they do that when you think the big men that they have on the roster already, with Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, Ariel Huckporty, those three in particular, right? And then, I do not know what they're doing with James Najee, or I don't know what's going on with him. So, I guess there's a reason to always continue to scout and see what's out there and bring people in to know what's available. But, kind of had me thinking. And this is nothing new. I'm sure you guys probably already heard this from other people. But what bothered me the most, honestly, and I'm not bothered by it, I'm saying what bothered me was when they brought in Dennis Smith Jr. to work out. That one was a little questionable. Because honestly, Dennis Smith Jr. has turned into a really decent defender in the league. When he got with Brooklyn, especially, his defense really started to get better. So he's an adequate defender who can run the point guard, can break people down off the dribble and get to the lane. And he also has, incredible athleticism. We know that. He's not the greatest shooter, but it had me thinking, like, if there was somebody on our team that was similar that would be traded to make room for somebody like a Dennis Smith Jr. If you're trying to make a trade to open up space, to allow another roster spot for Landry Shamet, for example, because I kind of feel like the Malcolm Brogdon thing, he's probably the favorite for that last roster spot, right? So they really need to kind of open up another one for Shamet, or which kind of leads me to Deuce, man. I'm a little concerned, a little worried that Deuce might be on his way out. And I say that because Deuce he underachieved last year. And if you look at Deuce in a vacuum, if you look at all the years of Deuce, what does it tell you? So why don't we do that? Why don't we take a look at Deuce? Let's look at the years of Deuce McBride. Miles McBride. All right, let me okay, let's see. Pull up these stats and see what we see here with the Deuce. Take the Deuce to the tray. All right. What is this? Can we get over here? All right, there we go. Maybe I can blow that up a little bigger. All right, Deuce. So he's been here 4 years, right? First year, he played 40 games. He shot 29% from the field, 25% from three, in little less than 10 minutes played, only 2.2 points. It was a terrible season. It was a starter season, with minimal minutes, just getting your feet wet, trying to learn the system, not really something to write home about. And he shot 66% from the free throw line. Year 2, he played 64 games, got a little bit more playing time, almost 12 minutes. He shot 35.8% from the field, which is also terrible. He shot 29.9 from three, which is terrible. He shot another 66% from the free throw line, and then he averaged 3.5 points, right? Now, you could all look at this and say, with limited playing time and still learning the game and learning his role, it takes time. Fine. Then we get year 3. In year 3, he was averaging 19 and a half minutes. He played 68 games. He even started 14 games. He shot 45% from the field. He shot 41% from three. He shot 86% from the free throw line, and he averaged around 8.3 points. Very nice season for the young Deuce, and very surprising. And especially, let's not forget how good he was in the playoffs. Then we get this past year. He played 64 games, started 10, shot 40.6% from the field, which is not good, but it's not terrible. You know what I mean? The league average is around 45%, 45. He shot 40.6. All right. He shot 36.9 from three, which is not that bad either, considering, shooting threes in the league. That's actually not that bad. It's 37%. He shot 41 the year before, so you feel like it's a little bit of a down year, but who knows? We don't know exactly what the real Deuce is. It's still a small sample size. He shot 81% from the free throw line, which is good. And he averaged 9.5 points on 25 minutes of playing time. So it's tough. And, even though I do say, and we've seen the proof in the playoffs, Deuce in the defensive packages that they ran out there, Deuce was always a plus on defense in most of these packages, if not all of the defensive packages that the Knicks ran in the playoffs. But we've also seen that in the Indiana series and then in the regular season at times, he definitely did get exposed on defense. He wasn't as locked down as he's been in the past. He averaged about 1 steal. One of the things about Deuce, though, is he's always been, with his wingspan, he's always been good at stealing the ball. He hasn't been as aggressive with it as he was in the past. And I don't mean because if you look at his numbers, you see 0.4, 0.6, 0.7. You're like, Ron, what are you talking about? I don't see it. But in the past, Deuce had games where he seemed like he could get his hands on everything. You know what I mean? So, and it may not translate to an actual steal, but he got his hands on the ball. That wingspan is deadly. So I'm just wondering, even if Deuce is on a really good team-friendly contract, if the Knicks don't look at this and say, how much further can he go with this team? You know what I mean? In a different team where they know he can be used more, when you don't have Jalen Brunson, Jordan Clarkson, Malcolm Brogdon, Landry Shamet. Maybe a team that doesn't have all that, Deuce can be really effective. But with what we got here, maybe the front office is saying we can move on from Deuce and send him to a better situation. This whole time, I've been thinking that they're going to get rid of Kolick, maybe Dadier. I wasn't thinking they were going to get rid of Deuce, but now I'm thinking Deuce is going to be up out of here, guys. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like he's the writing's on the wall. I don't know. It just kind of looks similar to how it looked before we traded like Obi or before we traded Quickly and RJ. It feels similar. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. Let me see. Pierre Moise is in the building. Yo, what up, Pierre? Good to see you. Wiz BKLA, salute Ron. If you mention trading Deuce and or Dance again, I will be coming looking for you. Look, I don't want it to happen. I don't like it. The Dennis Smith Jr. thing is making me think that they are preparing themselves if they got to get rid of Deuce. Because Dennis Smith Jr. doesn't come in and replace Kolick. Dennis Smith Jr. doesn't come in and replace Dadier. But Dennis Smith Jr. could come in and replace Deuce. Just saying. I'm not saying they're going to do that. I'm just saying, like, when you look at certain things, it's a little iffy. Benjamin B is in the building. He says, who's getting traded? I mean, who knows? I don't know. I do think it's one of them 3 people, though. And it's not clickbait. It's one of those 3 people is getting traded. Dadier, Kolick, or Deuce. And maybe it could be multiple people, guys. You see, as Knicks fans, everybody is like, they got this whole hourglass thing. We like living in Wonderland. The Knicks ain't living in Wonderland, guys. We watched them trade our favorite players before. I'm not saying, Quickly was my favorite player, but RJ was. They got him up out of here. Some people love Julius Randle. They got him up out of here. Some people love Dante DiVincenzo. For the right price, they got him up out of here, right? Obi Toppin. There's a lot of people who loved Obi Toppin when he was here. They got him up out of here. So what I'm trying to tell you is I love Deuce, they might get Deuce up out of here. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. They're going to do what makes sense for the team. So it ain't clickbait. I just told you. I mean, well, the other thing, Benjamin B, is that, if you watch the shows, we talk about this all the time. So it sounds like you hear for the first time in a little while. We've been talking about who might get traded. If you watch Saturday's show, you would have heard all about this. We didn't throw Deuce's name in it. I'm throwing Deuce's name in it tonight. We've already talked about Kolek. We already talked about Dadier. So this is nothing new. I would say, I mean, if you want to replay Gang and watch some of the other shows, not just my show, other people have been talking about it. So I'm not telling you nothing new. This is just what we all feel. One of these three guys might possibly get traded, and it could be more than just one of them. What up, Randu? Appreciate you. A member of the SKF Army. Salute. What up, Kareem? Salute. Appreciate you. Another member of the SKF Army. So salute to the chat. Latoria, we are. They is. What up, Tori B? Good to see you. Let's go. Let's see. Cody is in the building. What up, Cody? Sup, my brother Ron? What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you as always. Shout out to Top Notch T in the building. Oh, it's been a minute, Top Notch. Good to see you. Kerry Cox, what's going on, Kerry? Says salute, Ron. Based on his last year results. Yeah, I think the thing with Deuce is that it's not about necessarily his last year's results, because last year's on paper wasn't that bad compared to everything he's done before. It's the eye test. We as Knicks fans watch the games, and the organization watches the game, and the coaching staff watches the game. They seen when Deuce got cooked on defense, or when he doesn't seem as active as he was. They saw when Deuce was struggling shooting, when he was out there playing 20 plus minutes and not really doing a lot. He fortunately for Deuce, he finished the year strong. And so it brought his numbers up and made his numbers look a lot more respectable. But he had a tough year. If you cut Deuce's time, like forget the last third of the season and just take the first 3 quarters of the season, Deuce's numbers look bad. But he was able to kind of, get it going towards the end and make everything look more respectable. Shout out to JW. Training camp is going to be very interesting. There will be a lot of competition and fighting for spots. That's a fact. It should be fun. It should be fun. And it'll maybe bring out the best in the guys, make them hungry. Yeah, it seems like it, right? I still can't believe it, Wolverines. I never forget the first 2 years, and I'm thinking, man, Leon Rose is scared to pull the trigger. Boy, has that changed. He be wheeling and dealing. You ain't lying. So JW thinks Deuce and Kolek will be traded. Their replacement will be Shamet and Brogdon. Could be. If Deuce and Kolek get traded, that means the Knicks open up 2 roster spots, which means they can add Shamet. Brogdon will already have a spot, and that means they'll have another spot available for someone else. Maybe this is why they're looking at so many bigs, because they think they need another big instead of another guard. So I could see it happening. I hope it doesn't happen, but I could see it happening. It just is it's like that thing. Like when you look at your team, who's more valuable? Having and I'm just looking at it differently. Having like OG, McCall, Brunson. I'm looking from a different standpoint. Forget the big people. Having OG, McCall, Brunson, Deuce, Kolek, or having OG, McCall, Brunson, Clarkson, Brogdon. Yeah, that's No, it's not. That's not even a question. I don't think. I hate to say it. You know, I love me some Deuce, but I don't know, bro. Yeah, I don't listen. Kerry Cox, you guys know we had him. I do not like DSJ. But I will say I give him credit for improving on his defense. He's much more suitable now to be on an NBA roster. But keep in mind, he's a free agent for a reason. Nobody's really trying to acquire his services. It's not in high demand, but he can play some defense. He's gotten better on that end, and you know, I think his problem is we're in a shooters league and he can't shoot. No Cap Life's analyst in the building. What up, No Cap? Said we need Deuce. He at least tries to slow down opposing point guards, but we don't have a roster where we have multiple people doing that. Bridges showed he can't slow down top tier, smaller. I agree with you, but I think maybe what the Knicks are thinking is that the addition of Shamit, not that Shamit is, you know, but Shamit is he's a willing defender. The addition of Shamit and Brogdon is something that's going to help the Knicks defense overall. However, when faster guards play these guys, we gonna get cooked. Like, you know, Brogdon can only do so much. Maybe that's why they're looking at Dennis Smith Jr. because he can stick with these guards. Like I said, I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's gotten better on the defensive side of the ball. He was really good with the Nets on defense. So I think that's what the Knicks are looking at, and he has enough athleticism to still provide some type of scoring. You know, one thing about this Knicks team, we are not athletic. So I guess that works in his favor. Oh, JW said this reminded me of when we picked up DiVincenzo in the offseason. I just knew Grimes was going. I hear you on that. That's a fact. Cody said Leon will cut you for the right price for sure. That's a fact. Double D's in the building. What up, everybody? What up, Double D? Benjamin B said, what if we trade someone even more important than Deuce? I don't think so, because what would be the return? So the Knicks right now, they're looking at, as a lot of people have said, I don't want to take people's words, the Knicks are looking to consolidate a little bit because we got too many guards, right? We also need an extra roster spot. So I think this next trade is a consolidation trade. Now, if they wanted to get rid of somebody, now I'm not saying that they would stop there. Maybe later they would decide to make a different trade. But then they would be trying to get like some really good value back for what they're giving up. But I don't think they're thinking about that right now. I think their biggest concern is some type of consolidation trade to open up the roster spots to allow us to keep Shamit and Brogdon for the year, and also make sure we still do things by the book and get it done properly, because that's the other thing. With this whole second apron thing, the Knicks can't just do any trade. They got to make the right trade or else it won't be allowed. So yeah, but pretty much that for now. But I know there's other people in the community. My guy Fritz of the NBA Economy Show and the Nick of Time Show believes that the Knicks are still poised to make a big trade down the line. Whenever that happens, don't know, but he still thinks they're going to make a big trade at some point. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's true. He probably could, but I think Kolek, listen, this whole thing could get flipped on its head, and we would be surprised. Like maybe they decide to trade Deuce and they don't trade Kolek or Dadier. Who knows? This is, they could decide to trade the rights to somebody else or something along with Deuce. So for all we know, we don't know what they're planning. I mean, this is why it's so interesting to watch Leon cook. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think a lot of people were thinking the same thing, Benjamin B. He said, before last season, I thought Deuce would take a leap, but he regressed. And I think that's what the Knicks thought too. Because keep in mind, and I always go back to this, we know that Leon Rose did not want to put DiVincenzo in the Karl Anthony Towns trade, but Minnesota wasn't going to do it unless he did it. But the saving grace was that hopefully Deuce would take the next step, right, in his progression and not be DiVincenzo, but be closer to Devo's production than he was the year prior. You know what I mean? Instead of averaging around 8.5 or 9.5 points, maybe Deuce could get up to 12 or 13 points on average. You know what I mean? So that means some days he really has some good games, but he didn't do it. He didn't take that next step up. So that's another reason what made the Knicks look worse and made our bench look worse, because we just wasn't getting enough production out of guys. Okay. Wiz says, I agree that Deuce should only be traded for a solid piece, not to make room for these vet minimums. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, but we value Deuce, right? But how many other teams around the NBA value Deuce the way we do? Do we value Deuce because he's just that good of a player that just hasn't reached his full potential yet? Or do we value Deuce because he's ours? You know what I mean? Like he started with us. We're watching him grow or get to a certain point. Is that why he pulls on our heartstrings? Is that why we value him the way we do? You know what I mean? And I'm saying this, and I'm one of the people that loves Deuce. So I'm just wondering, like, is Deuce's trade value as good as we might think it is for his archetype? I'm not saying, obviously, we're not talking about Deuce as he's a great player, going to be a starter somewhere and average 20 points a game. I'm not talking about like that. But is he even worth the value that we think he's worth? Do other teams think he's worth that type of value? I think Deuce is a very good, he can be a very good role player. And if you give him the minutes on a team without having a lot of pressure, I think he can do fantastic. Plus, his contract is very favorable. But that's the thing. Like, that's what's attractive for other teams to get Deuce at the moment, I think. But the other thing too is, keep in mind, Deuce, we got him on another homeboy discount. Deuce's next contract, he's going to want a little money. Maybe not tons of money, but he's going to want somewhere between, I would say, 6 and 10 million per season, which is, I guess, fair for somebody who's in the league. This is his 4th year. This is going to be his 5th year coming up. I think that's probably fair for a guy of his archetype that can play, give you some offense and at times give you some good defense. So I don't know. That's another thing that teams around the league, if they want him, they got to think about. Do we want him? Is he a big enough piece that he's going to help us get to the next level now, or he's just somebody that's a good piece to have on our team for the long haul, which means we got to pay him eventually. What else we got? Nick Nation is in the building. What up, Nick Nation? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Double D says enough with the guards. I hear you. Kerry Cox says McBride will stick with the Knicks. Maybe so. Kerry's asking, what is Lonzo Ball's contract next year? I'll check that out. OG Anunoby is athletic, but okay. Continue to name athletic people on the Knicks, because we don't have them. We're not, compared to teams around the league that have 4 or 5 guys that are athletic, we've got one. Karl Anthony Towns is not athletic. Jalen Brunson, not athletic. What's his name? Bridges is not athletic. And when I say not athletic, it's not that you can't jump and dunk. It's that you don't have high athleticism. So we don't have that on the team. Like we used to have it in the past. We don't really have it now. Cam from the Kickback is in the building. What up, Cam? He says, why do we need to keep Tyler Kolek? Realistically, not a solid output. Offense, not enough assists to keep on the floor. No defense to speak of. Well, the offense and the assists would all come with playing time. So I agree that in some ways you'd have to say to yourself, are we ever going to give Tyler Kolek playing time enough that he can help his team? And if you feel like he's always going to be behind three guys, then you got to trade him, because what's the point? Now, if you say that eventually he will be the real backup to Brunson, that's why you keep him. But if he's going to be behind two or three guys all the time, what's the point? You know what I mean? We already know he's not a good defender. So, but if he don't get enough time to play off and get out there offensively and get a rhythm and do his assist thing, then he's no good to us. And I think that's the one of those hard questions that the organization has to ask themselves about their value of Tyler Kolek, and do they, eventually find a good role for him on this team if it's ever going to present itself, because we keep having to bring in guys to help the team win a championship that are above him in the pecking order and, deserve it. So that's something they're going to have to think about. It sucks because we've seen we continue to get rid of young people because we're trying to make the team better, not just win a championship, but we want to have some guys that have been in the league that know how to play basketball. But you would hope that some of these young guys present themselves and can stick with the team, like Dadier, or if not Kolek, maybe McCullers Jr. if they sign him to a two-way ever. The Knicks still have 3 two-way contracts that they have not given to anyone yet. So I don't know what's going on. Okay. Nick Yak says next trade. What trade? Well, I don't know what trade, but when I was talking about what Fritz was saying is that he envisions that at some point the Knicks will make a big trade. And we know when it comes to big trades, you already know who we're talking about. It's the same people. It's the Giannis's of the world, or someone of that magnitude, or even something that you don't think of. Like the Knicks go out and call New Orleans and get Trey Murphy the third and some other dude to help you know what I mean? Like a trade that actually is significant. Something like that. Don't know what it would be, but that's just, some people feel that way. Not just Fritz. A couple other people feel that way too. Like the Knicks are gonna eventually make another trade. We'll see. I mean, and it definitely could happen, especially if we start off the season and guys don't look comfortable. Like guys like Josh Hart or whoever else, or I don't expect them. I was going to say if Mitchell Robinson struggled, but I don't really expect Mitchell Robinson to struggle. If he's healthy, he does what he does, But like if something like that was to happen, I could see the Knicks just saying, you know what, we'll move on, because one, Josh is making a good amount of money. Mitch is supposed to make a good amount of money if we decide to pay him. But if they're not getting what they want early, they might hit the panic button and try to move him before anything else happens. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's all speculation. All right. Hey, we got a super chat. You know what it is. Shout out to my guy, Parrish Duggan. Thank you for the generous super chat. He says, my theory is coming true. We can't be serious about winning a chip with Deuce and Kolek tying up salary cap space. Shamet and Brogdon are just better picks. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that you're right. Okay. Shamet and Brogdon are better than Deuce and Kolek. Some people may say, what? I know. So if I'm comparing Brogdon to Kolek, Brogdon's better than Kolek, right? Brogdon's better than Deuce when you look at Brogdon's experience and what he can do. Shamet is better than Kolek because he actually is a willing defender. And, you give Shamet the opportunity, he'll light you up. That's his role, but he can do that role well if you give him time. And Shamet and Deuce is a little trickier because we know if Deuce gets locked in, he can be something special out there at times. But it's just that we're noticing that Deuce hasn't been as locked in as he was. And the other thing that the organization might be thinking of too, guys, is that Deuce was dealing with the injury bug a little bit more this past year, And when he came back, he wasn't as effective. It took him a real long time to kind of get going again. And, but not every player is like that. Some players get hurt, they come back. They just come back and they're the same, the way they was before they got hurt. Deuce didn't seem that way. So that's another thing the organization might be thinking, like, he just needs more time to get going, and hurts and injuries, like, they're setbacks for him. I'm speculating. I don't know none of this. I'm just saying, if I'm in an organization, I'm looking at everything. I'm trying to win a championship. So I got to evaluate all the players and see how they help and how their games translate to what we're trying to do, which is win a championship. Are they improving? Will they fit what we're trying to do offensively? Will they fit what we're doing defensively? How do they stack up in the playoffs? I'm looking at everything. So I don't know. Shout out to Anthony D in the building. What's going on, my brother? Salute. I hear you. That's the tough one. So, like, trading Kolek for a pick to open up space, not too many people have a big problem with that, because they just haven't seen enough from Kolek. And after the summer league, people really question Kolek. So you guys are a lot more content with doing it. Deuce, who you have seen some success from, it's a lot harder to say, let me trade a pick. Give me a pick for Deuce. And it's not going to be a first round pick. So then you're like a second round pick for Deuce after, what he's done to help us, and maybe, what he could still do if given the opportunity, and he's going well. I get it. So I don't know about the Deuce thing. I'm just saying, I feel like something's brewing, but it wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, if you ask me if I have to trade Kolek or Deuce, I'm trading Kolek. And I like Kolek, but Kolek hasn't really done anything yet. So I would have to hold on to Deuce a little longer, especially the fact that he's on a good contract. I'd hold on to him a little longer. But I understand. And it is repetitive to have too many of these guys that play the same position, and a couple of them have similar styles. I mean, Brogdon is just a older version of Deuce, better than Deuce, but just an older version of him. I mean, if Brogdon was younger, Deuce would be gone, guys. If Brogdon was younger, Deuce would be out of here. So that's the thing. All right, let me see. Got another super chat. Let me get to this one. You know what it is. Shout out to Yuri. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. He said, I will say this about to be one of the hell of a training camp. The competition will be there and a little toxic for the one spot. Deuce will break out. Hey, man, listen, that's the other thing too, though. If a trade has got to happen to free up a spot, and guys don't go in that trade and they're still here, they know they're not safe, right? So that is the good thing, because it forces guys, it pushes them. And who knows? This is why I got to tell you, the biggest problem that you have coming into the season with the Knicks is that players that didn't play well last year have a chance to break out this year. So that's why it's tough to even say who you want to trade or who you want to move, because guys might get busy this year in Mike Brown's offensive style system. These guys might, I expect Mikal Bridges to break out. I expect that if Deuce plays decent minutes, I expect him to play better than he played last year. I expect him to have a little, I don't want to say break out, but I expect him to play well. And I expect everybody else to play well. I expect all these guys to get busy under this type of style, moving the ball, finding the right shots, creating mismatches and all types of different things, doing more cutting. Like, I expect guys to get going. So it's tough to really get rid of somebody without knowing what they're going to be in this season. We'll find out, though. Let me see. Jay Chosen is in the building. What up, Jay? Good to see you, my guy. He said, I've been saying this for a while. I know you have, but we love Deuce. We ain't trying to get rid of Deuce. We love Deuce. But tell you that Brogdon pickup was interesting. So Anthony D says, when has this management team made moves like that out of desperation? They haven't had to, I don't think, yet. But that doesn't mean it can't happen, because remember, we've never had this much pressure on we've got pressure everywhere, right? Some people thought that Tibbs' success and Leon Rose's success were tied together. And we can see that that's not the case, because Leon Rose in the front office has done great things, and they've made so many improvements to the organization on the whole that Leon Rose has basically separated his job. That's why he's here, and things are comfortable at the moment. However, when you decide to get rid of somebody like Tibbs that has had winning seasons here, even if it wasn't all his decision, he made the firing, but Dolan did have a say, and the players weren't as happy, but it still falls on the front office. When you decide to make that move, if God forbid Mike Brown comes in here and the Knicks struggle and we don't look like things are translating, and then guys like Josh Hart struggle, guys like Mitchell Robinson struggle, it's not desperate to make a move quickly. It's more of you're doing it before other teams can, hold you back, is what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's not out of pure desperation, like, oh, we got to get these guys out of here before, it's more of, you want to trade the guys when you first notice, while their value is still there. Like, you don't want their values to decrease around the league and then people try to play hardball with you. You just want to do it internally. Like, watch these guys, see where it's going, and do you feel like it's working out? So you have to kind of make that diagnosis within the first month and a half of the season, 2 months maybe, and see if it's all working out. The only person I really worry about right now, once again, is Josh Hart, because Josh Hart is going to probably start coming off the bench. And he's got to find his role once again. And, that Indiana series kind of put a bad light on him. And maybe, it gets in his head a little bit. I don't think it will, because Josh seems pretty strong-minded. But if that stuff starts to weigh on him, could affect him, and we might have to make a decision. But I think Josh will be fine. I think this style, this new system, is going to benefit everybody, and the bench crew is going to get busy too, because the moving of the ball and that creating the space and the pace that they're going to be playing with, I think is going to help everybody. So I think we should be fine. No one should be traded outside of what we got to do now to free up a spot. I think this is pretty much it. I think once we free up the spot, this will be the team. I'm not really expecting a big trade after this, but it could happen, but I don't think so. I think once we get going, we're going to be like a fine-tuned engine, man. We're going to be taking teams out. I think we're going to be, for once, we're going to be blowing teams out, and the Knicks are going to have some laughers. So we'll see. No, I don't think Bridges is athletic, no. When I say athletic, I'm talking about guys who, have superior jumping ability, who have superior quickness. You know what I mean? Say what you will about someone like Giannis. Even though he's getting older, Giannis is still one of the fastest people at his position, right? He's still faster than some people smaller than him, and he can jump. You know what I mean? Like, that's athleticism to me. It's like, it's not just leaping, it's also quickness, right? Superior quickness to be able to get to, because that's stuff you can't teach. It's, you have it or you don't have it. I remember when Obi first joined the Knicks, people were talking about Obi because of his athleticism, but not because of his jumping. Everybody knew he could jump out the gym. It was about his speed. He was doing drills faster than everybody else on the team. That's superior athleticism. Let's see, got another Appreciate you, Paris Duggan. Thank you for the generous super chat. He said Deuce is really good, but as building pieces, he's what? Oh, he's Nets good. Oh wow, he's Wizards nice, not championship good. We need difference making, playmaking, and savvy. I see what you did there. Okay. Wow, that's tough. Imagine somebody calling you Nets good. Oof, that's rough. I hear you though. I hear you. Shout out to Craig in the building. What up, Craig? Good to see you. Sherwin's in the building. What up, Sherwin? He says, I'm not trading Deuce or Daddier. Okay. I know because the defensive element. I get it. Kolek doesn't play defense, so automatically he's your first choice. I get it. Wow. Kolek or Huck. You've been saying a lot that you don't like Huck's defense. But has Huck really had a moment? I mean, we've seen Huck get exposed a little bit on defense. That one game against Cleveland is what makes me remember. But we've also seen him have moments where he played good aggressive defense. He did he has some nice weak side blocks. Like, I mean, I just think with Huck, I feel like you got to give him a little bit more of a chance to see what he can do and get him some consistent minutes. But he doesn't really ever get a chance to get consistent minutes. And Tibbs was playing Huck Porty. He had 2 good games, I think. I'm not mistaken if it was 3 or 4, but I think it was at least he had 2 good games where he looked all right. Then Cleveland came. We played Cleveland, and he looked bad against Cleveland, and we didn't see Huck again. So I don't know. Top Notch T says, I hope Diawara turns into a superstar for us and starts eventually. Yeah, I hear you. Jay Chosen said, I'm trading Kolek, but we would get a half a Sammy and a bowl of soup for him. Well, I mean, at least we know there's one team that's asked about him. We don't know what team that is. And maybe between now and then, like maybe there's more teams that have inquired a little bit about Kolek since then, but I don't know. Is it Tampa's? That's a good game. Okay. I know Benjamin B says, ironically, 2K26 lists Deuce as the fastest Knick. Yeah, I mean, and let me also say this: Deuce does have athleticism, but Deuce is small, right? We've seen Deuce when Deuce goes to dunk, he gets up, but he's small, right? We've seen Deuce. I mean, as far as speed goes, that just tells me that the Knicks aren't a fast team, right? Because remember, one of the big knocks on Deuce coming out of college was that he didn't have a good first step, which meant he couldn't break down guys. Now he's gotten better at that since he's been a Knick, but you know, if he's our fastest player, we're not that fast. Okay. Sherwin says Dadier came to the NBA at 6'7", 3/4 without shoes. He looks taller to me now. He's also bigger and stronger. He's a modern day power forward like Tatum. Well, they said he's around 6'10" now. So you know, we'll see. I don't know. Shamit's a pro. Yeah, I mean he's a journeyman. He's been on different teams. He's been in different systems. He's an NBA player. It's a tough time. I mean but that ain't the issue, Jay. He said, "Can we trade Deuce and Mitch and Kolek and 2 All-Pro O-lines for the Giants?" Nah, I mean the Giants got some love this past game. They were able to score 37 points. They was getting busy. Their defense that everybody thought was going to be crazy has not been crazy. We got some issues, y'all. When the stuff that you think is going to be a problem works and the stuff that you think is going to work don't work, we got problems. But, what can I expect? Oh, man. Not yesterday's game, Wolverines. Not when you can give up. We had 500 plus yards of offense. Now the O line was getting busy. All right, what else we got here? All right. Shout out to Edward Walker in the building. Hi, Knicks people. What's going on, Edward? No, that's not necessarily true. Wolverines 1986. Knicks dumped Obi. Now, I will tell you the Knicks traded Obi because Tibbs was done with him. That's true. You're right about that. Tibbs was done with Obi, and so that's why he was traded. But we traded him for a second round pick because we had to. We needed to free up as much money as we could. We were starting to get money together so that in the off season we can make some moves. And so they thought that it'd be better to free up, because if you guys remember, see, I only say this stuff because I remember it, and you can look it up if you want. I don't know how you're going to Google it. You can probably Google it though. It's probably there. When the Knicks were trying to trade Obi, they didn't want a player back. Indiana was offering a player back. Knicks didn't want a player. We wanted a pick because we wanted to free up the space and we wanted to free up some money. Because if you remember what happened, the Knicks traded Obi, and then a couple days later or a week later, whatever it was, I don't remember exactly, the Indiana Pacers traded what's his last, Duarte. They traded the 24-year-old Duarte for a second round pick. So so if you telling me the Knicks traded with Indiana and Duarte got traded out of there for a second round pick, the Knicks got a second round pick for Obi, those two could have easily been swapped, but the Knicks didn't want a player. That's what happened. State from Harlem in the building. What up, State? Good to see you, my guy. Hope you're doing all right. Jay says, I don't remember seeing Huck play ever. Damn, damn, bro. Was it that bad? I don't know, man. State says the Knicks need to figure out that starting lineup. They really do, bro. They really do. I will tell you this. This is what I said on my Saturday show. I don't think Brogdon should start. I think Brogdon should come off the bench. I think he's a veteran who knows how to play the game. He knows how to run the position. I think Brunson should be able to do his thing out there. Brogdon should come spell him, or at sometimes they could play together. But I don't want Brunson and Brogdon really out there too much together, especially Brunson, Brogdon, and Cat. Because you talk about defensive liability, and I'm not saying Brogdon's the same type of defensive liability, but you got to think, man, we're going to be going up against these dynamic guards. They're going to be running us in circles, man. That's the only thing that Brogdon has a problem with, fast guards. And so you get a team that got fast guards, they're going to be cooking Brunson and Brogdon. So I just I hope they keep him on the bench and let him do his thing. So as far as the starting lineup, I don't know what they're going to do. I thought Deuce would go into the starting line. I mean, look, if we want to say what I really wanted, this is what I wanted. And I said this maybe like 2 months into last season. I wanted Dottier to be the shooting guard. I don't, if you drafted the kid, he's young. You telling me he could shoot the three. Now we're finding out that he was the best shooter in practice. He can play defense. And I feel like that's the one thing people keep overlooking. I feel like the Knicks be overlooking it too. You got a 6'9", now he might be 6'10". Person who is young, can play defense, and can shoot. Like, what are we doing here? Why not put him in there as let's throw some, we always playing these teams with all these matchup problems for us. Why don't we create a matchup problem for somebody else or be able to match up accordingly with these teams? I don't know. One day, man. One day it's going to happen. I don't know when, though. So, State, you said I would start Yabusele or Brogdon starting Hart, or Mitch invites a logjam. I don't want to start Hart. I don't want to start Mitch either. Like, I could see them doing it. I don't want to start Mitch. I could go with Yabusele, but for me it would be I would go with a guard type first. So it would be realistically, if Deuce is on this team, it would probably be Deuce. But if Deuce is gone or something, I don't know what they would do. But I could see them going Yabusele. Some people said they might even like Jordan Clarkson. Maybe. I mean, he's a shooting guard. He's a point guard, but he's really a shooting guard. We know what he is. But yeah, I mean, if they, why not? He don't play no defense though. That's the problem. So, I mean, do you want a backcourt of Brunson and Clarkson? That's tough. Remember when we were thinking back in the day when we wanted to trade for Donovan Mitchell and people were like, nah, we can't have no small backcourt with two guys that don't play defense. Let me tell you something. You take Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt right now because you know Donovan Mitchell is going to get busy on one end of the court. I can't really say that about Clarkson. He's going to do some things, but he ain't going to do Donovan Mitchell things. See, you know, Donovan Mitchell could give up some points, but he's going to score more points than he gives up. But anyway, Nick Nation says, give me the numbers to support your argument that we would be better without Deuce on the floor for all those ready to let him go easily. Yeah, I know I couldn't give you those numbers because when we looked at the numbers of the playoffs last year, every defensive lineup that Deuce was in, it was a plus lineup, and he was a plus in all of those defensive lineups. So Deuce, obviously, he does something. So I can't say he doesn't do anything. Parrish says Huck is damaged goods. He's away. Whoa, what happened to Huck? Well, damn, already? Damn. Y'all know something I don't know, man. Huck seemed healthy to me. He just didn't play before, but he's good now. Ron, I hope you know Bridges' vertical is over 40. Is it? I could never tell. I wouldn't be able to tell. When I think of Mikal Bridges, I don't think of superior athleticism. I don't see him, you know, going to the hole, dunking on people. I don't see him, necessarily blowing by everybody because of his speed. He is, I mean, listen, I will say in fairness, he's still one of the fastest Knicks, right? He's faster than a lot of other Knicks, but the Knicks are not really a fast team. Have you guys noticed? Have you looked at our fast breaks? You know, do our fast breaks look like they were when we had Quickly and RJ and Obi here? You guys don't notice a difference in our fast breaks? We just don't get out and run like that because we don't have the team speed that way. And the starting lineup definitely doesn't really have the team speed. So I get you. I hear what you're saying. I'm not trying to downplay. Like, just because somebody has some type of statistical metric, I'm not going by that. I'm going by when people, anytime I hear people talk about athleticism, it's usually elite athleticism. It's not just guys, you know, that are just standard athletic. And every time I look at it, even whether it be whatever sport you're thinking of, if it's football, talking about linebackers, he's a 240-pound or 230-pound linebacker that runs a 4.4, 4.5, and he has a 40-inch vert, and, like, you know, all of that stuff combined is what creates the athleticism. So I'm not just, like I said, I'm not just going by vert. Not just by the jump. You got to be able to you know, it's the quickness, the jumping, all of that, all of it that makes up elite athleticism. And that's just something that the Knicks don't really have as a team. I would say Deuce is probably sneakily, he's probably a very athletic guy on our team. His vert is probably really good. And if he's the fastest Knick, then he's probably the most athletic we got. I don't know. Um, hey, not Cody. I mean, Deuce gets up, bro. Deuce be catching some bunnies. So State says not starting Deuce. That's just ridiculous. Not a basketball to me. Brunson 6'1". You don't win championships like that. But if one of the issues that the Knicks had last year was point of attack defense on the perimeter. Now, OG and Macau were great at point of attack defense. However, point of attack defense on the perimeter wasn't the same. We were struggling. So it got to a point, even in the Indiana series or the Celtics series, where you saw that Deuce was able to close out effectively point of attack on the perimeter. I'm not talking about in the paint or get into the hole. He was getting cooked at moments there too. A lot of guys were getting cooked, but I'm just saying the point of attack on the perimeter. If Deuce is one of the better at it, don't you think that that would probably help the Knicks? And I'm not saying that you should. I'm also don't think that Deuce should play like a lot of minutes. You could start Deuce, but I don't. What I said a month ago was that, and other people have said it, so I agree with them. I think the Knicks should have a core four, right? The four starters are always going to be the four starters. I think the fifth guy should rotate. I think it could be Deuce. I think it could be Yabusele. I think it could be Mitchell Robinson. I would just play. I would play it by whatever the matchup is of the team we're playing or whatever the team likes to do. And if it makes more sense to have Deuce out there to help, then start Deuce. I think there's nothing wrong with having. There's been teams that have had multiple starting lineups. There's no reason with that you can't do that. I think the Knicks should play starting lineup by committee for whoever the fifth spot is. Keep the core four and just rotate the fifth spot. We need to get you off that ledge, Jay. That was it. Oh well, that wasn't it alone. Don't forget, we also had to make some trades in the draft. That's the reason why we gave we traded our first round pick, the European kid, which I can't even remember his name now. Whoever that European kid was, what was his name? That we drafted and we traded him. And then we made a deal with Detroit and we traded Duran to them. And that was to free up money. And also they took Kemba Walker off our hands, which allowed us to have the money to acquire Jalen Brunson. So all of that came together. You're not wrong, Nick Yak, but it was more to it too. All of that. Latoria said, "Yeah, I was definitely clicking yesterday. Russ looked good. He did, man. Look, I don't think Russ is washed, but I didn't expect him to do what he did yesterday. I'll tell you that. Throwing for 400 yards is very nice, very nice, and 3 touchdowns. And forget the pick he had in overtime. It never should have got to overtime. Okay, the Giants were supposed to come in here and have one of the best defenses in the league. Maybe not like Baltimore Ravens type defense or whatever, but they were supposed to have a top 10 defense, and they were supposed to have at least a top 5 front line with all those dudes that could get sacks and all that. Like, what are we doing here? And that's the thing, our secondary is suspect, but if the guys get to the quarterback and make the quarterback, have happy feet, make him make some throws he don't really want to throw, that makes our secondary better. It gives our secondary chances because our secondary is got some issues. And let's not forget, we lost one of our good linebackers too, who's still not back. That got hurt in the first game of the season. Hopefully we'll get him back sooner than later. Sherwood said no. The Knicks traded Obi to get Cat. I don't understand what you mean by that. I don't know how that makes sense. You would have to explain that to me, Sherwood. Picking up full court definitely matters, yeah. But the only reason why I'm focusing on the perimeter D is because we are always either second to last or dead last in perimeter threes in the NBA for years. So I'm trying to improve on something that we're always bad at, is what I'm looking at. Paris says, Ron, who's better, Deuce or Obi, or Deuce and Grimes? Deuce got to go. All right. Damn, Parrish, I got you. I hear you. I don't know, bro. I do not know what happened to Duarte. He looked good for a little bit. I never seen him again. Let me Google him. Let's see what Chris Duarte is. We might have a Duarte partay. Chris Duarte. So when he left Indiana, he got, and it's crazy. His first season with Indiana, he averaged 28 minutes. He was averaging 13 points a game. Wow. That thing did not last. They got him up out of there. They traded him in the second season. All right, so he went to Sacramento. Only getting 12 minutes with Sacramento. He's actually on the Bulls. He played on the Bulls last year. He was only averaging 4.5 minutes. Wow. So that's where Chris Duarte is. All right. Sherwood says, Ron, do you know the average height of the Knicks? No, I don't. But I could Google it. I mean, we're not a tall team per se. We have good height. We've got better height now than we did before. But if you're counting guys that don't really play, then we don't really get the benefit from guys like Diawara or Dadier. Even Huck Porty, we didn't really get the benefit from his height that much last year. So I don't know. But I mean, it depends on what you're trying to say. I hear you. Craig says it's crazy how Cam Reddish is already out the league and playing overseas. Isn't that nuts? I saw that. I was like, that's crazy. You know, the only thing I like about that, and not a slight to Cam, because he doesn't deserve it, is remember when the Knicks drafted Ntilikina and LeBron was making a big deal, like if we played ourselves by not taking Dennis Smith Jr., right? I didn't like that. I didn't think it was right. And I think as LeBron being an ambassador of the league, I don't think that was something he should have did. You don't belittle or down or in any way how he did it, down another player, a young player at that, who's especially a young player that's coming from overseas, joining your league, right? Why would you try to make one player feel a certain way just so you could big up the other player in Dennis Smith Jr.? And you guys remember that, you know, because of that, Ntilikina had a chip on his shoulder. And every time they played LeBron's team, he would go at LeBron and he would try to stop him. And a couple moments he did stop him. And the guard was going crazy, right? And so that was the one instance, right? And then again, you know, eventually Dennis Smith Jr. played with LeBron. Didn't really do much there. But then the other thing was about Cam Reddish. He was mad about how the Knicks treated Cam Reddish, and he deserved better. He should have. And then Cam Reddish went to the Lakers, and nothing happened over there again with LeBron by his side. So I love it when LeBron thinks he's bigger and knows more than everybody else. A lot of players that are so gifted and are on such another level, they think because they're so good, because the game comes so easy to them because they can tell players what they need to do. That means it's going to work out. Like you know more than other people. It's not how it works. You might be gifted, you might have the talent, but that doesn't mean it's going to translate. We saw it happen with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was incredible, right? We know that. But when he had to be in a position where he became an owner and he would talk to different players and expect them to do certain things that he would do, they couldn't do it because they're not Michael Jordan. It just happens. Just life. Shout out to Nostalgic Nick in the building. What up, Nostalgic? Said those Deuce numbers are bogus. Deuce was a no-show when it mattered. Eddie Rodriguez says Thomas Bryant should be in the Knicks rotation. Well, if the Knicks wind up trading more than one person, then that might be what happens. Apparently, he had a good workout and they liked what they saw from him. So we'll see. I know the Knicks did pick up a big man that played with the Nets, but he's not for the big club. That's a Westchester pickup, guys. That's like that's just something to continue to help the G League rosters. Let me see what his name is. I forgot. What is his name? Tosan Evubowam. Whoa, hold on. Evboman. Whoa, this is a tough one. Tosan Evboman. Maybe it's a Mwan. You got to say it like that. Maybe the M is kind of silent, but Tosan Evboman. Maybe he's Nigerian. I don't know. I don't know all my Nigerian names. I try to learn them, but I don't know if he's Nigerian. I'm just saying. Maybe he is. Or maybe that's a Haitian name. If somebody knows out there, help me out. All right. So they picked that guy up, but like I said, nothing to worry yourself about. Shout out to B. Willis in the building. What up, B. Willis? Said development coaches getting rid of our young core. Well, I mean, then what would be the point? Like, we just brought in a development coach. He's got to develop somebody. He ain't going to develop the players that already know how to play. We'll see. I mean, but granted, even though I'm saying that, we still got a bunch of guys. We're talking about Diawara, Dink Pate, McCullers Jr. if they ever give him the two-way, Dadier, Huck Porty. Then you got you got guys in the G League that the development coach would be working with to see if any of them can emerge to be something that might make the big club at one time, or that they can improve on their value so we can use them as trade pieces. Development is not just about getting guys ready to play on your team. It's also about getting guys ready to play so that you can trade them somewhere else to get more value back. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Appreciate all of y'all. If you're here for the first time, thank you for being here. Please smash the like button if you enjoy the show. And if you like the content, please subscribe. The like button looks a little something like this. Appreciate y'all. We are on the road to 10K, guys. So please like, subscribe, comment whenever you want, all that good stuff. What else we got going on here? B. Willis says we need a 1-2 punch in the backcourt. I hear you. Well, I mean, I don't mean, so just because I'm saying you switch up your lineups, I don't mean you start a different lineup every game. Remember, you're going to have moments where a lineup works, right? So why change it? I would say you change it based on how effective it is. So you start with a lineup and then you change it depending on, if that lineup is no longer effective because of that player. Remember, the other thing too is you may not have to change the lineup because it's all contingent on how the team plays on the whole. Maybe the Knicks go out there, they use a starting lineup, and the starting lineup plays great 3 games in a row, right? The 4th game, we get some team, I don't know, like Orlando comes in, and Orlando's got bigger players. They come in, and they're doing some good stuff against our starting lineup. And you look to yourself, and you say, man, this starting lineup out there is not working because we're too small in the backcourt, right? For example. But then the bench comes in. The bench makes the adjustment, and the Knicks are able to, dig themselves out of whatever hole they're in because the team on the whole is good, right? We've got more depth. So you don't have to necessarily make a change to your starting lineup. I'm just saying you should be flexible enough that you can switch it up depending. And really, none of that really matters until you get to the playoffs. The playoffs is when you want to mess around with lineups. That's when everything, it's all, life is on the line, right? Everything matters then. That's when you say, I'll do whatever it takes to win. I think Darlene agrees with that. Keep the core 4 starters and rotate the 5th person, depending, right? Okay. Notorious says, I don't know who we pissed off, though, because we have the toughest schedule ever. You talking about the Knicks or the Giants? Because I'll tell you, both teams got tough schedule, but the Giants got a terrible schedule. But whatever. Oh, really? Angel Torres says, shout out to you, Angel. Good to see you. Says, Duarte's played in Puerto Rico this year. Nice. JJ's in the building. What up, JJ? Says, salute, Ron. Peace, bro. The bench is super small. Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out to Mega NYK in the building. What up, Mega? Says, salute to my guy, Ron, in the SKF chat. I mean, the bench wouldn't be as small if we got to be able to play Dadier. I wonder, when do you have to announce your 2-way contracts? Like, when do they have to be decided? What if the Knicks just decide to play out training camp and see how guys play in order to determine, because they got to use them anyway. I don't know. I was just thinking, what if Diawara gets the nod over McCullers Jr.? Because I still think McCullers Jr. is going to wind up on this team, but, you never know. Mm-hmm. All right. Iron Eagle called him Iwoma. Okay. It's definitely not Italian, Jay. You're right about that. Dripmore is in the building. What up, Dripmore? Says, salute, Ron. What's good, my bro? Salute to you, Dripmore, the preferred barber of Still Knicks fans and the Knicks community. Let's go. What up, Drip? All right. And shout out to everybody who's tuned in on YouTube, and shout out to everybody who's tuned in on X, all 140, 134 of y'all. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks, man. Thank you for hitting that like button, Drip. More appreciate you, my brother. Okay. All right. Nick Yak says, I think you can play preseason with only 13 signed. Okay. All right. I mean, I know by the regular season you got to have it in place, but I'm just wondering how long we could go. Okay, that's good to know. Listen, man. B. Willis McCullough is my guy. Like, I know some people thought he went a little crazy. He went a little ham in the in the summer league, but I like him. I like that he was trying to get on the map. He was trying to show y'all he had some game and that he could play. He went a little nut, it's true, but at least he was trying to put himself in people's minds. He knew we had new coaches. He knew Mike Brown was there watching. He was trying to, hey, Mike Brown, I'm McCullough. I know I'm not one of the people you're looking at, but look, I'm here. Um, wow. Kerry says, I believe Kolick, Matthews, and McCullough are going to be moved before the start of the season. Well, Matthews apparently, I think Fritz made a really good point that he believes Matthews will be on the G League team as insurance. So if anything happens with Shamit, you bring Matthews up and he'll fill in for him because they both are shooters. They're specialists. They both knock down the three. And I think that's a very smart plan, especially if you're trying to win a championship. Anything can happen. Injuries can happen. Next man up, but you want to have a next man to go to. And so Matthews is a NBA player that's played on teams. He knows what to do. He's a specialist. He doesn't do a lot, but what he does do, which is shoot threes, he does well, and free throws. Shout out to Paris Duggan. Thank you for the generous super chat. He said we got to trade those guys for cap space because real talents are going to end up available. That's the aprons era now. Kolick, Huck, Deuce, and or Daddy all got to go. It's tough, man. It's tough. I could see. I honestly, out of those four names, I could see Kolick, Deuce, and Huck like a late third. Right? I don't see the Knicks trading Daddier. I just think that they think Daddier could be a part of the future. And maybe, listen, if things don't work out, guys, then the in 2 years, the future could be very soon. So the Knicks don't have, a huge window if they don't keep having success. They got to be successful this year. They got to be successful next year with a chance to win a championship this year or next year. But if we don't look like we're going to win a championship this year and next year we look the same or whatever, the Knicks may decide to pivot and make moves and get rid of these bloated contracts and go young again and try to get some young stars, right, to flip it around, because that's what good organizations do. They don't put all their chips in the basket and hold forever. They try to pivot quickly because they don't want to have to do a complete rebuild and wait too long and have to build up all this talent and get bad draft picks and all that stuff and have losing seasons. You want to try to flip your talent and get some pieces in there and maybe stumble on a couple of draft picks while you're at it. There's nothing worse than watching a competitor, watching one of the teams we play that have a good team already wind up with a top pick. You're like, what? Now they got a top pick too? Remember when the Bulls got Derrick Rose when they were still a good team? That pissed me off, man. Anyway. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think the Knicks got some very interesting stuff they're going to have to look at. We're going to see what they got going on. I think they set themselves up nice to have some young guys do some good things. We got to see how it all plays out, though. We got to see how it all plays out. But right now, I'm a rock with our stars, with our vets, with our team that we built. Them young guys are just going to be waiting in the wings to help us out if we need them, and hopefully they learn from this. And really, I mean, who knows what Mike Brown's going to do, guys? We know he's going to be a little bit more lenient than Tibbs when it comes to his roster. I think we all know he's going to play 9 at least. Some of us think he's going to play 10. Some people said he might play 11 at times. We'll see. We've seen it work. OKC did it. I think Houston, the Rockets did it at times. Other good teams in the playoffs might have done it too. So maybe the Knicks will try to do something like that too. I just think, whatever works for the Knicks to be able to make them tough to stop, I'm with it. If it means playing 10, 11 guys and keeping guys fresh, whatever. All right. Well, guys, listen, I would love to keep it going, but, it's getting later. Got to go back in the office tomorrow and get back on the regular everyday grind. You know how it is. I just want to say I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Definitely nice to see everybody in the chat. all the love you guys have showed. The chat's been on fire. You guys have got a lot of good stuff in the chat. I wish I could get to every single thing because y'all been talking. But I appreciate y'all for real. Shout out to, like I said, once again, everybody on YouTube. Shout out to everybody on X. Those on Facebook that are tuned in, hitting the like button. I appreciate y'all as well. Please smash that like button before y'all go and share out the show like y'all always do. Let them know we here. Replay gang is in full effect. Shout out to Ant Dub in the building. What up, Ant? Appreciate you. Salute. Thank you for being here. I know you just joined, man, but listen, you still, hit that replay button and watch the show, man. We talked about some stuff. The last thing I wanted to say before I get out of here, because I put that on the thumbnail, is this a championship blueprint? And I think it is. It's not the typical championship blueprint. It's different, but I think it's a championship blueprint nonetheless, right? It's not OKC's championship blueprint because they were able to do it different because they stunk so long. They acquired so many different picks. They got so much young talent over there, but they were able to draft everybody to fit a certain blueprint. They drafted all these two-way players, right? And it's worked out for them. But they also were able to hit home runs on the big talent. And not for nothing, they were also able to pull off an incredible trade. That trade for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the game changer. So, you got to have some luck. The Knicks, maybe we didn't have that luck last year, but who's to say we won't have it this year? Some people looked at Karl Anthony Towns and what he gave to the Knicks, and we appreciated it, but then you also saw the flaws in his game with the defense. But maybe under this new system with Mike Brown and the rest of the team, coaching staff, maybe this year he's a game changer. And maybe that we look at the trade and say, now this is when the trade pays off. Let's see, guys, because we need a game changer too. We want to win a championship. We need a game changer. Hopefully it's Cat or someone else. I don't want to put too much pressure on somebody like Jordan Clarkson, but, if his impact is great on the bench and he's able to score consistently and give us that spark we need coming off the bench, that could be a game changer in its own right. And Mikal Bridges could be the game changer for all we know. He could have a fantastic season this year and be real accurate, consistent is what I'm looking for. If Mikal is consistent this year and knock on wood, healthy like he's been, and I mean consistent on both sides, because he was struggling sometimes on both sides of the ball. If he's consistent, wow, who knows how good the Knicks could be. So we'll see, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's continue to support our team, because no matter what, as I always like to say, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, we are still Knicks fans, baby. We are here. Shout out to all y'all. Once again, have a great rest of your night. This is going to be a good week, because something's going to happen. I feel it. Something's going to happen, and hopefully it's a positive. Let's just keep it going, man. Listen, you guys, take it easy. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your lives, because life is short. Make the best of it. That's all I got, yo. As I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans, we'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights at 9 p.m.-ish. I was a little late tonight, I know. For SKF Weekly with myself, usually my brother John and my brother Jose on the ones and twos holding it down. This time I held it down. Or on Saturdays at 11:30 for Know the Ledge, as I help talk y'all off the ledge, or y'all help talk me off the ledge. Either way, man, it's a good conversation. So definitely salute to everybody. Appreciate you guys. And I'll holler at y'all next time, man. Listen, remember what I always say, be good. If you can't be good at it. I'm out. Ladies, y'all.
New York Knicks. First. Go Knicks.
We can finally, start playing, man. So much talk this whole summer. It's felt like so long because we've had so much to talk about. At times it's been kind of slow, but we've been talking, right? But we've actually had a really good off season for this New York Knicks team, and it's been very active. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Knicks family, we in the building. I am the objective fan.
from the Objective Knicks Fan Channel. And I'm going to give a big salute to Ron and John from Still Knicks Fans.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Knicks family, I'm Stephanie, a.k.a.
I'm
Blood Sweat
still
Tears.
talking still Knicks.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Lady in the Chef, from Two Knicks Chicks Podcast. Still a Knicks fan.
What's good, party people in place to be? It's your main man.
What's up, everybody? This is Steve Black 21 at Two Knicks Chicks Podcast, and I'm still a Knicks fan.
Yo, this is your boy Sim from Nothing But Knicks. Through all the struggles, through all the heartache and pain, ladies and gentlemen, I am still a Knicks fan.
Peace, y'all. This is Apollo Reed from the Garden Knicks crew. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm still a Knicks fan.
I'm still here. We're still here. Still Knicks fans. It's a fandom. It's a lifestyle.